Hello, namaste, and welcome to the supramental seminar.
Hello.
Video number 1. We are coming to you almost live, of course in recording, to carry the good news and the message, because the shape and the scope of yoga has changed, darling, over the last 100 years immensely. There has been developments unbeknownst to the masses. Not many people know, but in the previous, our 20th century, when we were born, a huge shift happened amongst the teachings that allow human beings to transcend themselves, which are of course only applicable for a very few who are curious, for a few curious ones. Are you curious, darling?
Yes, very curious.
Yes. So, for those who are not satisfied of living their life as bio-robots of sorts, thinking thoughts that are put into their heads by the state, by the parenting guardians, by the books, by the school, who are not satisfied by feeling emotions which they don't know where they come from, for those who want to get to the very core of consciousness, of the riddle of existence. There have always existed certain schools of esoteric knowledge, helping and guiding them to transcend their limited physical personality and to go outside, beyond the scope of physical reality, and realize the truth of being. Those teachings are most amply and most trenchantly and brightly represented in the schools of Indian yoga, which in the 20th century have got a huge boost with Sri Aurobindo, a great sage who came and transformed and amended and improved and synthesized and explained all previous schools of yoga and set the super high goal for all of us, the goal of the supramental transformation, which means that our earthly existence here is not in vain. It's not a purgatory, it's not a prison of souls, not a school where young souls come for a while and then go away into better worlds. It's the spot and the seat and the scene for the supracosmic, supramental transformation and a perfect creation, what Jesus Christ called new heavens and new earth. Some religions foresaw it and somehow envisioned it as more as a dream, but now we have this as almost the reality. Here at Supramental Seminar morning sessions, we have coffee. You forgot to show us some fruit, darling.
Yes,
that
today
we have
these berries.
Blueberries from China, I suppose. Or maybe not.
Apricot.
An apricot from Kyrgyzstan, I think.
Stuck. And this
cherries. Cherries looking suspicious because berry season. Usually we're so happy about the berry season, but then second thoughts start creeping into the backs of our minds, because all the modern berry production is heavily laced with chemicals and pesticides and preservatives. So we wash them sometimes with baking soda. And still I am not 100% certain to recommend the berry diet to you guys, but we cannot resist. Berries are so nice. Darling, catch one. Oh, sorry, I missed. Okay, so back to the serious matters.
And this means we are not the crown of evolution, yes?
Yes, Sri Aurobindo taught that we are not the final stage and not the crown of evolution of species on Earth. Human beings are transitional. They are a link between the animal kingdom and the divine race of supramental beings who will have higher consciousness and who are about to appear in the next, say, 1,000 years. And he taught exactly how to achieve that for anyone sincerely interested. We are reading here at these sessions what is called the fifth Veda, the crowning Veda of spiritual knowledge revealed by Sri Aurobindo. It's called the Savitri, and we are big fans, and we are reading it little by little, trying to comprehend the deep meaning. On hidden interiors, lurking passages open the windows of the inner sight, darling. What's inner sight?
Внутренний взгляд.
Yes. We are helping Katyusha here to understand, and since she flatly refuses to intensify her efforts of learning English, she still has to rely on her native tongue, which is Russian, to comprehend the meaning. But for us also, like, and for those who know Russian, studying a text in two languages sometimes helps, because even like for a native speaker who reads Savitri in English, he can sometimes miss some nuances because they come naturally, like he takes for granted some words without thinking too deep about the connotations. And when you are forced to translate, to transcribe into a different tongue, you are forced to like look at each word and understand and try to put the meaning more precisely. So for studying the text, double language approach sometimes, like all the time, helps. So what's, darling, hidden interiors, lurking passages? You remember the words?
Hidden interiors.
Hidden interiors. We are now inside the room. It's the interior.
Интерьерах.
Yes, interior, inside the room. Exterior, outside. External appearance. Lurking. Lurking means hiding in the dark, ready to spring on you. In ambush. You should learn the new word. Ambush, darling. В засаде. In ambush. Embouchure is something different. Katyusha has the knack of remembering similar sounding words and then jumping to conclusions that all similar sounding words should also mean something similar.
Yes.
I have strong doubts that ambush and embouchures have anything in common, but who knows, because maybe it's something from French. But I have no idea how ambush can be related to embouchure. But you can remember ambush as sitting behind a bush, in the bush, and waiting for some prey, or you are like a predator. Lurking, so hidden in the dark, not visible.
Lurking passages.
Lurking passages.
Спрятанные проходы.
Yes, some maybe passages that lurk somewhere, passages where some strange beings may lurk. And the windows of the inner sight of yoga can help us to see the hidden interiors. We're starting today from this line. He owned the house of undivided time. This is one of the more powerful passages, often quoted. It is a mystery and a misfortune for humanity that integral yoga of Sri Aurobindo and its main text, the Savitri, is not widely studied and recognized by people. Anybody who sees the text, including the academia, of course they immediately realize and admit its merits, even basically, like even at the level of basic literature and poetic skill. But there are not many people who realize the purport and significance of this mighty work. We are doing a little bit our small steps and attempts to bring a wider public and audience recognition for this text, because if this text were adopted in the universities at least, or in schools also, as kind of the Bible, quote unquote, of the 21st century, humanity would make progress in leaps and bounds. He owned the house of undivided time. Lifting the heavy curtain of the flesh, he stood upon a threshold, serpent watched, and peered into gleaming endless corridors, silent and listening in the silent heart for the coming of the new and the unknown. The unknown, darling. Why I can't mark the words like this? Can we see? Yes, we can see. He owned the house of undivided time. What does it mean to own something?
Хозяин чего-то.
To own, yes, быть хозяином, владеть. When you say I own you, it means
You own
you
me.
my master, and you own me. We are like slaves to love, because we are husband and wife. Thank you, darling. Let's read on.
He owned the house of undivided time.
Time.
Lifting the heavy curtain of the flesh, he stood upon a threshold. Serpent watched. And peered
into gleaming endless corridors.
Gleaming endless
corridors.
Into gleaming endless corridors, silent and listening in the silent heart for the coming of the new and the unknown.
Silent and listening in the silent heart for the coming of the new and the unknown. He owned the house. He was the master of the house of undivided time. A bit cryptic line. What's undivided time? God only knows. I'm sure some exegetes and commentators on Savitri know this, but we are not the best, we are not the best scholars on it. We should really get the books, darling, the English of Savitri, to be able to cross-reference and look for the line. Maybe we should even buy them in the form of e-books. The English of Savitri, a series of books by Shraddhavan from Auroville.
Maybe we need first watch Shraddhavan and then
No, we
read.
cannot possibly include
But-
Shraddhavan because it will be nobody will be have patience.
No, without video. No? First
We are
listening.
good, darling. We'll be doing the books, and for anybody interested in a deeper study, we can recommend watching the videos by Shraddhavan, which they recorded in Auroville. Auroville is yet another big topic which we will take up on in some other time. A city of dawn in India, in near Pondicherry, which is now called Puducherry. They changed all the names, darling. No longer we have Calcutta. What they have now? Or still Calcutta, still called Calcutta? No, I think they reverted to some Calicut or something. But maybe Calcutta is still called Calcutta. But Madras, no longer there. Chennai. Bombay, no longer there. What's now Bombay? They go from our channel.
I forgot.
They go all the time. Maharashtra, Madurai, Matheran, and they go to God knows what they go to. But anyhow, Pondicherry is no longer Pondicherry, the old French colony in the South India, in the state of Tamil Nadu. It's now Puducherry.
Pondicherry was beautiful name.
Puducherry.
Puducherry strange.
What was I on about then? About undivided time.
Undivided time.
undivided time, time which is undivided, where past, present and future are together, the spiritual realms of the higher consciousness, where if you enter there, you feel like time has no time, or like time stopped, or all time is present. I think this is something what is meant here. Undivided means unseparated, unpartitioned into sections, неразделенное время, complete full, like experience of time. And he owned the house. He was the owner of the house of undivided time.
It's king.
The king Ashwapati, the one who was doing the yoga. And now we are getting through the description of the yogic achievements, when he already got the spiritual consciousness and opened his mind and inner vision to the states and planes of consciousness beyond our physical world. So he owned the house, он владел, был хозяином дома неразделенного времени. Undivided time.
No, this is, I understand.
Lifting the heavy curtain of the flesh. Let's try to understand what about this is. This one is easier to explain, but let's see if you can actually get at the meaning, darling.
На лифте, ну, это типа он поднимал или удерживал.
Lifting the curtain, the heavy curtain. What's curtain, darling? First,
Curtain это занавеска.
So, поднимая тяжелую занавесь. Lifting the heavy curtain. Very simple. You should be able to translate already.
Что-нибудь означает лифтинг.
No, curtain. Lift, поднимать.
Поднимает тяжелую занавеску
Of the flesh, плоти. He stood upon a threshold, serpent watched. Serpent is the snake. Serpent. Serpentarium. You know the way where snakes live. So, serpent watched means watched by the serpent. And who's the serpent? Serpent is the guardian. Guardian of the astral realms. When you want to go into some treasure hunting into the astral realms, в астральные миры, you must pass the guardians. And sometimes they are presented as serpents, I think. He stood upon a threshold. Threshold is the part under the door, which kind of like, or a step where you step onto before entering the house. So when you stand on the threshold, ты стоишь на пороге. On the threshold. He stood upon a threshold. Стоял он на пороге. И на него смотрела змея. Serpent watched. Змеем наблюдаемый. And peered into gleaming endless corridors. Peered means looked, like penetrated with his look. And смотрел, вглядывался into gleaming endless corridors. Gleaming means showing some light, glistening, luminous, блестящие, сияющие.
Бесконечные коридоры.
Yes. Silent and listening in the silent heart for the coming of the new and the unknown. He stood upon a threshold, silent and listening. This is like pertains to the king in his inner experience. He stood upon a threshold, silent,
Молчал и
в
слушал.
молчании, да, тихий, and listening и слушающий in the silent heart.
В тихом сердце.
В безмолвном сердце, тихом сердце, for the coming of the new and the unknown.
Прихода нового и неизведанного.
И неизведанного. Because you cannot sense the coming of the new and the unknown unless you get into silence of your own thoughts. Once like, so long as you're still thinking, you will miss the unknown and the new, because you will only be churning your thoughts about in your brain, and thoughts are something that's already old. We are aiming for something supramental, the stages of consciousness beyond mind. So like there, thought is not a great helper. So to sense the coming of the fresh, something new, fresh and the unknown, we have to fall into silence and meditate a little. So guys, let's meditate on Savitri. This is the greatest text of all times and ages, surpassing even the Vedas, because it is based in the Vedas and giving the old knowledge in the modern interpretation and in the language accessible to modern thinkers, but also going to the next stage, which the Vedas only envisioned and imagined thousands of years ago. The Vedic rishis already saw the light of truth. And now Sri Aurobindo finally made this light of truth manifest in the earth consciousness. And we are now seeing the world churning and going through travails and pangs of transformation. Whether we should succeed without some huge catastrophe or not, I think it's again in a shaky balance. But let's hope the catastrophe will be avoided. Sarvebhyaha Shubhamastu Kalyanamastu Mangalamastu Swasti Rastu. Health to you guys, to everybody. Stay healthy. Subscribe to our channel for new videos. And bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye. See you in the next video.